Hi students, today I am going to talk about most important content in a feature, that is obituary. In everyday newspaper we can see the obituaries. What actually the obituary? Why people are going to write about the obituary? The first thing is that obituary is very important because of people wants to know more and more about the dead person. Obituary means a write-up about a dead person. It is also called as a news of death, or particularly if it be the death of an important individual ranks as live news. It is considered as the live news of a dead person. How to write an obituary? It also has a separate contents. The first thing is that while you are writing the obituary, you should have some information about the person. The first thing is that while writing the obituary, you should have the full name of a dead person. Why the full name is required? Because, for example, we have the Abdul Kalam, the former president of Abdul Kalam. How many people knows about the Abdul Kalam? Very few members know that. When it comes to why we required the APJ Abdul Kalam, what actually the meaning of APJ? Abdul Pakir Jalaluddin Abdul Kalam. It requires while you are writing the death news. Because there are so many members have the same names. For that purpose, it requires full name of a dead person or death person. This is very important aspect while writing the obituary. The second is that his address. What is the essential of his address? What we can do to keep with his address? Yes, it is required because the person has born in some place and living in some place. For that purpose, his residential address, the present as well as his permanent address, where he was born. When you are writing the permanent address, it tells about where he was born. While you are writing the residential address, where he was living, where he come from. For that purpose, the address is very, very, very essential. The next, date and place of birth. Date and place of birth. What we can do to keep the date and birth of a place? That is exactly. When we think about the date of birth, we can easily recognize how old he is. What we can do with the place of born, because where he was born, we came to know that where he was born. For that purpose, the date of birth as well as the place of birth is very, very, very essential. We can compare the present age of a dead person or dead person. The next is date and place of death. It is very essential because we can compare the birth and death of a person. the age of the person. We can easily came to know that how old he is. For that purpose, the date is very required, the birth and the death date, and the place of the death. Why actually the place of the death is required? Because whether he died in a hospital, or whether he died in a road accident, or whether he hanged himself, or someone has did to him or her, for that purpose it is required. And next is cause of death. What actually the cause of death for a person? Whether he died by heart attack, or naturally, or forcibly. For that purpose, whether the person has some diseases, whether he suffered from diseases, these are all the things can reveal the cause of death. The person cause of death came to know that by reasons. The next is occupation. What actually his occupation was. Why it is essential? The occupation is very important thing. Whether he is a writer, whether he is something the important ranked person, or whether he is a localite, or whether he is a folkist or something else. What actually he is doing. The great personalities have, for example, APJ Abdul Kalam was a former president. It tells about his rank. Before the president, he was a scientist. People recognize him, still people can recognize him as a scientist. For that purpose, occupation is very, very important thing. The next is religious and social affiliations. What actually the meaning of the religious and social affiliations? Whether he is a Hindu, Muslim, whether his cremation can do according to his religion. For that purpose, religious is very important. And social affiliations, how the relationship he has with the society, that tells about the social affiliations. Whether he has a good relationship with the society, or whether he don't have. For that purpose, the social affiliations are very, very important. And at last, name of serving relatives. This is very, very, very important while you are writing an obituary. Why actually requires name of surviving relatives? Because how many children he has, the name of the wife, the daughter or the son, these are all very important things while you are writing an obituary. How old they are, what actually their occupation, what actually where he is. These are all the very important aspects should consider while you are writing an obituary. I hope you enjoyed the obituary class. Thank you for patience listening. We will meet next with an interesting topic. Thank you.